You're born a prince, and by the time you're dead, mapmakers still won't have caught up to you. You will burn a capital to the ground, execute your own general with your bare hands, and convince an entire army you're the son of a god. You will conquer more land in 12 years than Rome would in 5 centuries. And it will still cost you everything. Stay to the end. The empire you're about to build will start collapsing before your body is even cold. Stage 1. The Prince of Macedon. You're born in Pella in 356 BC, son of King Philip II, a man who spent his whole reign turning a backwater kingdom into the deadliest army in Greece. Your mother, Olympias, tells you from the crib that you're descended from Achilles. Your father tells you, more than once, that Macedon will be too small for you. At 13, you get the best tutor money can buy, Aristotle himself. 3 years of philosophy, medicine, and Homer, all of it feeding a boy who already believes he's owed the world. At 16, you're regent while your father's at war. At 18, you lead the cavalry charge that breaks the sacred band of Thebes at Chaeronea and hands Philip control of Greece. You've tasted command. Then, at 20, at your own sister's wedding, a bodyguard drives a dagger into your father's chest. You're the heir now. And half the kingdom expects you to fall before you've even started. Stage 2. The New King. You don't fall. You move faster than anyone expects a 20-year-old to move. Rivals to the throne die quietly. Rebellious Greek cities test you, so you march south and remind them what your father's army looks like. Thebes rises against you while you're campaigning north. A rumor spreads that you're dead. It's wrong, and you make sure they regret believing it. The city is stormed, razed to the ground, its people sold into slavery. Every building left standing turned to rubble except the house of the poet Pindar. It's not cruelty for its own sake. It's a message written in ash. This is what happens to cities that bet against you. Greece goes quiet. You've secured the home front the only way you know how, completely. Now there's nothing left holding you back from the real target. The Persian Empire, the richest, largest power on earth, and you're about to cross into it with an army you can't afford to feed for more than a year. Stage 3. The Invader of Asia. Spring, 334 BC. You cross the Hellespont with roughly 40,000 men and a war chest that won't last the season, so there's no version of this where you turn back. At the Granicus River, you personally lead the cavalry into a Persian line, take a sword blow to the helmet that nearly ends the whole story in your first battle, and win anyway. City after city along the coast surrenders or falls. Then at Issus, you face the Persian king Darius himself, on a battlefield so cramped it neutralizes Darius's numbers, and when his center breaks, Darius abandons his own mother, wife, and children on the field and flees. You could chase him down and end this in a year. Instead, you turn south, because you know something your generals don't fully grasp yet. As long as the Persian navy has ports to use, this war never really ends. So you're about to spend a year doing something slower and harder than winning a battle. Starving an empire of its coastline, one city at a time. Stage 4. The Liberator of Egypt. Tyre refuses to surrender, so you spend 7 months building a half-mile causeway out into the sea under constant bombardment, until the unconquerable island city falls, and you make an example of it. Thousands killed, tens of thousands enslaved. Gaza holds out next, and takes an arrow through your shoulder for its trouble before it falls too. Then Egypt, exhausted from Persian rule, simply opens its gates and hands itself to you without a fight. You found a city on the coast and name it after yourself, Alexandria, the first of nearly 20. Then you take a brutal detour through the desert to the Oracle of Siwa, and whatever's said to you in that temple, you come out the other side letting people call you the son of Zeus Ammon. Whether you believe it or you've simply realized how useful it is, the effect is the same. Your own men are starting to wonder if they're following a king or something else. And the man you're actually still hunting, Darius, is regrouping one final army to end this for good. Stage 5. The King of Kings. Gaugamela, 331 BC. Darius has picked flat, open ground, cleared and leveled for his chariots, and outnumbers you by a margin historians still argue over. Some sources claim 5-1. You attack anyway, driving your own cavalry through a gap that opens in his line and going straight for Darius, who breaks and runs a second time. This time, it's the end of him as a king in anything but name. Babylon surrenders without resistance. Susa hands over a treasury so vast it takes 10,000 mules and 5,000 camels to move it. Persepolis, the ceremonial heart of the Persian Empire, is burned to the ground. Accident or message, no one's ever fully agreed which. You are 25 years old, and you now rule the largest empire the world has ever seen. Darius is murdered by his own men before you can even reach him, and you give him a king's funeral. Because in your own mind, you're not destroying Persia anymore. You're becoming its rightful ruler. Your Macedonian officers do not like what that's starting to look like. Stage 6. The Conqueror of the East. The empire's capital cities are yours, but the empire itself isn't finished fighting. It just moves further east, into Bactria and Sogdiana. You marry a local princess, Roxana, partly for love and partly to bind the region to you by blood. You survive an assassination plot from your own royal pages. Command is starting to cost you the very men who built you, and you're about to ask all of them to follow you somewhere none of them ever agreed to go. Stage 7. The God on Earth. You push into India, because in your mind the world hasn't ended yet, it's just further away than anyone told you. At the Hydaspes River, you fight King Porus and his war elephants in a battle so costly it shakes even your own veteran troops. You win, and you're generous to Porus in victory, but the price is starting to show on every face in your camp. Then you reach the Hyphasis River, and for the first time in over a decade, your army says no. Not to an enemy, to you. Men who have marched 11,000 miles refuse to go one step further. You sulk in your tent for 3 days, the way you've always gotten your way before. It doesn't work this time. You turn back, the only retreat of your life. Stage 8. The Dying God King. You make it back to Babylon a different man than the one who left Macedon 12 years earlier. Restless, grieving your closest friend Hephaestion, who dies of fever that same year, and already planning your next campaign before this one's even settled, an invasion of Arabia this time. You never get to start it. In June 323 BC, a fever takes hold and doesn't let go. Officers crowd around your deathbed and ask who inherits an empire stretching from Greece to India. Within days, the men who followed you across 3 continents are already dividing the map between themselves. You conquered faster than anyone in history and administered almost none of it. Because for you, the point was never really the empire. It was the campaign. The next horizon. The thing your father said Macedon was too small to hold. 23 centuries later, historians are still arguing about whether that makes you the greatest conqueror who ever lived, or just the most successful man in history at running from the one battle he could never win, sitting still.